Hi, my name's Kari Waltz. If you haven't been here before, thank you for joining me. I am an art resource and I share tips, tools, and techniques for artists things that have helped me in my journey. And today I used trimming shears, whatever you call these, and I wanted to show you what I did with them. I'm going to share some ideas on things that I have found that help me travel a little lighter. And if you know me, you know I don't travel light. So I'm going to try to improve on my last trip. And when I went to Florida a month or so ago, I took way too much. Now I was gone 10 days and this is only a 4-day trip. So that's a difference there. But I'm learning. This is a cosmetic bag that one of my students told me about, and so I picked one up, and it has really been a great way to organize things on the go. And I'm going to show you what I have in here and why I used my trimming shears. Main purpose for the shears is I wanted brushes to fit in this case, and I always have more brushes than I really need, but because of that I had extra, so I could cut them shorter so that they would fit in here. And not only do I cut them short, but I get unique duct tape. This happens to be SpongeBob. I'm not really a fan, but it was what was left over when other people picked what they wanted. And I have some turquoise that I used at another time in my life. And there was some paw prints in here as well. But when you're traveling with other people, you need to identify your things. This helps when somebody borrows a brush or it's left behind, and you can identify it by the tape that's on the end. This helps not only identify it if it's yours, but if you drop it on the ground, it's a lot easier to see something that has a bright color on it than if it was all black. So for those reasons alone, identification and being able to see it when you drop it, that is worth putting tape on the end of your brush. So I'm going to shove that back in here, try to get it all nice and flat so it doesn't hurt. I also use Altoid tins to carry charcoal so it doesn't get smashed. Vine charcoal, sometimes I draw with that, and sometimes I also use it in pastel painting. So the things that are in here are mainly for oil. A couple of things I can use for pastel. Another thing that I do is I take old brushes that I don't really care for, and I give them a haircut. I just cut in with scissors, chop them up, because when I'm working with foliage outside, it's such an organic shape that sometimes the perfect shape or end of a square or flat brush like this one and even the filbert that has a curved edge, sometimes you just don't want that to show up in your painting. So I have what I call my crummy brushes that I've given a haircut to, and I use that when I'm painting foliage and anything that I want to be a little more organic. This interior side has some linen panels that are multimedia linen panels. Sometimes I paint small, so these are fairly small. So for that, paper towels, wet ones. I always carry doggy do bags for my trash can. And I have a viewfinder here, which is very helpful when you're outdoors and you want to limit what you're viewing. If you haven't noticed, I didn't know this when I first bought this, and I probably had it for several years before I did. There is some emblem or imprints on the back. That's 8 by 10. So if I'm doing an 8 by 10, I can line it up here, and I draw a little square on my sketch pad, and I can do a little thumbnail in there. But if I'm looking through it at the scene, I know that this is the right proportion for an 8 by 10. There's also a 9 by 12. Pretty cool, isn't it? So look at your viewfinders. This is an 11 by 14, which goes right here. So pay attention to that. This little circle here and this little circle are not only so, this one, not only so you can attach it with something, but so you can isolate a color. So when you're looking through it and you want to see what something is, a specific color you want to compare it to, you can isolate it. You can even put a dab of that paint next to it if you think you're going to match a color, but I really like to use index cards for that so I don't get paint all over this. But if you didn't know that, take a look at yours. Also, when I'm using small linen pads or panels, I want to secure it to something when I paint. I don't want it to just be loose or in my hand. I have these panels, which I'll eventually paint on, but they still have their plastic. So when I want to paint one, I'll take it out. See, that's the linen. Flip it over, and I carry tape. It could be an old gift card, or it could be a business card. This happens to be one of my business cards. And you just wrap your tape around it. I have two different kinds, obviously. I have painter's tape and masking tape. So when you need it, you just find the end, unwrap it, and put down what you don't need. It takes up a lot less room than a roll of tape. But I just do rolls of that, put it on the back of here, or on the back of here, and stick it to here, so that when I'm painting on here, I have something to hold it with, and my hands don't get all messy, and the painting doesn't get messed up either. So, nice little tip there. If you've gotten any good ideas from today's video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you think anything I offer is helpful. I am so excited that I have over 400, actually 418 the last I looked, subscribers. If you are one of them, I really appreciate it, and thank you so much. Oh, one other thing. On this end, I keep my paint. My husband's given me a couple of boxes that he gets from where he works. Gabriel and Company ship jewelry in these lovely boxes, but they're perfect for my smaller tubes and that nothing gets smashed. I have a small jar of mineral spirits that I keep in a Ziploc just in case, extra gloves, and then my Gamlin solvent-free gel if I need it. So pretty much everything in here is what I need if I want to paint 5 by 7 or smaller. And if I want larger, I just pour more paint, get a larger canvas, and go to town. So thank you for joining me today. Hope this has been helpful.